they could have a big chunk of stuff quick. Do people have notebooks that they take on the go? Do they copy data to their notebooks? How about their smartphones? Um, at its more basic root of probably something everybody has to do your tapes go off-site? Because if your tapes go off-site, you're taking all of your data. So lots of different ways you've got to protect yourself from internal issues. Security on the go. Laptop theft accounted for about 50% of the reported security attacks. And that's because people are getting this information on laptops that are totally unprotected. Lost or stolen laptops and mobile devices are the most frequent cause of data breaches, almost 50% back in '08. And this is a pretty eye-opening stat, that 22,000 laptops are lost in airports every week, and 2/3 go unreturned. 2/3. That's like 15,000 laptops every week that are just lost and never found. Chances are somebody found them, though. And 53% of mobile professionals carry company information on their notebooks, and 65% don't actually take steps to protect them. So you can see how who can access your data. It definitely relates to security on the go here. So some basics for security on the go: laptop locks. You can actually get a physical laptop lock. There's also software locks. There's software out there now that'll actually do whole laptop encryption. That way, if your laptop is stolen, the hard drive can't be accessed. We're not talking about Windows, because usually when your laptop is stolen, people aren't going to use your computer. They're going to take the hard drive out and stick it in their own computer and try to copy stuff over. But the software can lock them out of doing that. Laptop tie-downs. You say, well, what are laptop tie-downs? It's kind of like a bike lock, but for your laptop. Most laptops have them. If you ever look in the back or the corner of your laptop, you see this little spot that looks like you can just hook something in there. That's an industry standard laptop tie-down spot. And there are even things out there like LoJack for laptops that will report when they come back online and aid you in getting that stolen laptop back. A good place to check this out is computersecurity.com. They've got all kind of neat info, and they sell a lot of these products too. So here's some pictures of those laptop tie-downs that I talked about. We mentioned flash drives. If you're going to have a flash drive, it's a very good thing to make sure that all your information on there is secured. And that can happen by getting an enterprise or a high level or a secure flash drive. And I don't mean going out to Sam's Club and getting the ones that you can get 3 for $40 that have the little slider thing. These are actual drives that are secured. They're encrypted, and you need a password to access info on them. There's even ones out there now that have a thumb reader or a thumb scanner right on the card. So if you're going to allow flash drives, I strongly recommend you only allow high-level secured flash drives. Yes, they are more expensive, but when you go back and consider that there's usually $72,000 worth of information on a laptop, spending $40 on a flash drive instead of $20 doesn't really sound that bad. So again, they were doing encryption, password protected, and fingerprint readers. Smartphones is a big one. It's definitely a new one because so many people have smartphones nowadays. I have two. I have a work one and a personal one. How many people actually password protect them? Smartphone is not secured if you can grab it and then press the phone and the asterisk button to unlock it, or if you can slide your finger left to right to unlock it, or slide your finger up and down to unlock it. Almost all smartphones, I haven't seen one in a long time that didn't have the ability to have some kind of a password on it. Usually they're referred to as a PIN code sometimes. You have to enter a few letters, a few numbers to unlock the device. Security at its most base, yeah, it can be a hassle if you get a call when you're driving, but that's a whole nother subject, and there are a lot of talk out there about using these when you're driving, and we're not even going to get into that. Enterprise security. Depending on what kind of smartphone you have the ability to lock down what's on these phones. Um, if you're using, say, a BlackBerry and you're just getting your email redirected through a website, you don't have any security options really. But if you have a Windows mobile phone or any phone that does Exchange Active Sync, or if you have a BlackBerry and you've actually bought the server software, you've got a lot of enterprise security options. And those options are things like, can users store files on their smartphones? Can they sync their own contacts? Controlling what your users can actually put on the smartphones. And a lot of people are probably saying that, well, I'm the one who decides who gets to do that, so I can do whatever I want. But again, think about the fact that how much information you probably have on your smartphone now. And a lot of that is probably out of convenience, but if you look at what would actually happen if you did lose your phone, and we get a call a week about people losing their phone and ask what to do. If you have good enterprise security on there, it won't be as big of a concern. But also a lot of that enterprise security software allows you to do something called remote wipe. And that would mean whenever the phone had an internet connection, whether it's 3G or the slow kind, you have the ability to reset that phone to its defaults from anywhere. So as long as that phone is powered on and has service, you can send this remote wipe command to it to clear that phone off. So any information that you had on there will get blown away. So it's very important to consider that too. And these are things that the phone people aren't really going to talk to you about. They just want to sell you a phone. So that's why we do ask, if you're thinking about phones, definitely want to talk to your IT people and see what they think, because it is an IT issue. It's not just a phone anymore. And the last thing we're going to talk about is SSL. SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. Basically what it is it's a way to secure website traffic. Anytime you go to a website and at the top it says HTTP, that's normal web traffic. But if you see the HTTPS, that's SSL. If you're at a website and you get a little lock icon, or the icon, the address bar changes green, that's SSL. And what that means is that the information going from your computer to that website is secured and it's encrypted. People may ask, why when I go to my Outlook web access do I get that security warning saying invalid certificate? Well, what that is that's a certificate that comes built in on your computer, but it's not a real SSL certificate. It's like a personal one. It's not a public one. It's not an internet one. So if you were to get an SSL certificate, and you can get them for fairly inexpensive rates nowadays, a couple $100 for 2 to 5 years, and that's going to make sure that your Outlook web access is secured. You can set up all the smartphones nowadays to connect over SSL also, which means the information when it's transmitted between your smartphones and your server is secured. Because if you don't have an SSL, the information sent between your server and your smartphone is not as secure as it could be. And then your websites too. If you're collecting any kind of personal information, it is a very good idea that you get an SSL certificate on your website. Just knowing that users who's submitting that, their information is going to be protected. Last upcoming announcement, and it is relevant to our security stuff, is our Take Your Agency to the Next Level seminar coming up in just a couple of months. We do hope to see you there, as we'll be talking about a whole range of IT topics, not just security issues. So I'd like to thank you again for attending our webinar. Please feel free to send any comments that you have to my email address here as shown.